Turkey's influence in the Balkans is growing, quietly but steadily. From economic investments to cultural diplomacy, Ankara is reshaping its role in southeastern Europe. But what's driving this resurgence, and how is it impacting the region? Let's dive into the story of Turkey's soft power strategy in the Balkans. Welcome back to Global Village. Today, we're exploring how Turkey is extending its influence in the Balkans, a region with deep historical ties to the Ottoman Empire. The Balkans, including countries like Bosnia, Serbia, Albania, and Kosovo, have long been a crossroads of cultures. Now, Turkey is leveraging its history, economy, and soft power to become a major player here. But is this a new Ottoman revival, or something more pragmatic? Let's break it down. To understand Turkey's role today, we need to look back. The Ottoman Empire ruled much of the Balkans for centuries, from the 14th to the early 20th century. Cities like Sarajevo, Skopje, and Belgrade were once part of this vast empire, leaving a legacy of mosques, bridges, and cultural traditions. This history gives Turkey a unique connection to the region, especially among Muslim communities in Bosnia, Kosovo, and Albania. Fast forward to the 1990s, when the Balkan Wars reshaped the region. Turkey stepped in as a supporter of Bosniaks during the Bosnian War and was one of the first to recognize Kosovo's independence in 2008. These moves weren't just diplomatic. They built trust among Muslim populations, positioning Turkey as a protector of their interests. Turkey's influence today isn't about military might, it's about soft power. Turkish soap operas, like Muhteşem Yüzyıl, Magnificent Century, are wildly popular across the Balkans, showcasing Turkey as modern and culturally rich. These shows have millions of viewers, creating a positive image of Turkey among diverse audiences. Then, there's the Turkish Cooperation and Coordination Agency, or TİKA. This agency funds projects like rebuilding Ottoman-era monuments, constructing schools, and providing aid during crises, like the COVID-19 pandemic. For example, in Montenegro, TİKA invested €5 million in areas with Muslim populations, like Rojaja, to restore schools and cultural sites. These efforts aren't just charity. They build goodwill and strengthen Turkey's image as a reliable partner. Turkey's also spreading its language and culture through institutions like the Yunus Emre Institute and the Marif Foundation, which run schools and cultural centers in places like Albania and Bosnia. These initiatives teach Turkish, promote cultural exchange, and foster connections with local communities. It's a subtle but effective way to keep Turkey's influence alive. Economics is a big part of Turkey's strategy. Turkish companies are investing heavily in the Balkans, from infrastructure to energy. Take the Belgrade-Sarajevo Highway, launched in 2019 with Turkish support. This project not only boosts trade, but also strengthens ties between Turkey, Serbia, and Bosnia. Turkey's trade with Balkan countries has grown significantly, with exports to Serbia alone reaching new heights in recent years. Turkey's business-first approach focuses on mutual benefits. Unlike the EU's complex regulations, Turkey offers straightforward investments, which appeal to Balkan nations hungry for economic growth. But it's not without challenges. Turkey competes with the EU, Russia, and China, all vying for influence in the region. So while Turkey's economic footprint is growing, it's not the dominant player yet. Let's talk about politics next. Turkey's political influence is growing through high-level diplomacy. President Erdogan has built personal relationships with leaders like Serbia's Aleksandar Vučić and Bosnia's Bakir Izetbegović. These ties have led to practical outcomes, like the trilateral dialogue mechanism between Turkey, Bosnia, and Serbia, which has helped ease tensions in the region. Turkey's also positioning itself as a mediator. In 2022, Foreign Minister Mevlut Çavuşoğlu tried to de-escalate a Serbia-Kosovo conflict, showcasing Turkey's desire to be seen as a stabilizing force. Ankara supports the Balkans' integration into NATO and the EU, aligning with Western goals while carving out its own role. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Turkey sent medical supplies to Serbia, Bosnia, and Kosovo, earning praise while the EU faced criticism for slow responses. This medical aid diplomacy boosted Turkey's image as a dependable ally. But Turkey's influence has its limits. The EU remains the dominant force in the Balkans, with its promise of membership driving the region's aspirations. Turkey's influence is strongest among Muslim communities, like in Bosnia and Kosovo, but less so in places like Croatia or Slovenia, where EU ties are stronger. Turkey also faces competition from Russia and China. Russia has strong ties with Serbia and Republika Srpska, while China's Belt and Road Initiative brings massive investments. Turkey's influence doesn't match the EU's economic clout or China's infrastructure projects. Another challenge is Turkey's push to limit the Gulen movement in the Balkans, seen by Erdogan as a threat since the 2016 coup attempt. This has caused friction, as some Balkan governments resist Turkey's pressure to close Gulen-linked schools. So while Turkey's making gains, it's not a takeover in the traditional sense. It's more about strategic influence. What does the future hold? Turkey's likely to continue its soft power approach, focusing on culture, education, and trade. As the EU's enlargement process stalls, Turkey could fill gaps, especially in Muslim-majority areas. But to avoid being seen as Neo-Ottoman, Turkey needs to balance its historical narrative with modern, inclusive diplomacy. Turkey's influence is about building bridges, literally and figuratively. Projects like highways and cultural exchanges signal a long-term commitment. But the Balkans remain a complex region, with multiple powers at play. Turkey's success will depend on maintaining trust and avoiding overreach. Turkey's quiet rise in the Balkans is a fascinating mix of history, culture, and pragmatism. It's not about conquest, but connection, using soft power to build influence in a region that's still finding its place in the world. What do you think about Turkey's role in the Balkans? Is it a force for stability or something else? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more deep dives like this. Thanks for watching Global Village. See you in the next one.